All right, y'all. So this is going to be a really quick video about my college experience. First of all, if you want to know more about more stories about college experience, going to college as an adult, let me know in the comments. This is just going to be me talking a little bit about my experience going back to college as an adult. I'm just going to get right into it about going back to college as an older person. As long as you don't look old, boo, you good. Anyway, I went to NYU 1 year after I lived in New York back in 2010. So I went back to school in 2011, but I ended up having to move from New York in 2012. And then when I finally went back to school, when I relocated back to Florida, trying to wait on residency. I don't know why I had this thought in my mind, trying to wait a year before I became a resident to enter school. I don't know why. At the end of the day, you're still gonna owe money, so what do it freaking matter? But if I would have just went back to school, when I went back to school, I could at least had an AA degree or something, or a lot of credits. I don't know. But I kept on trying to wait a year, so I didn't really fully go in and go back to school until August 2013, and I finally graduated this past May 2017. So I spent my full 4 years in college. And let this be known ahead of time, because they say you're supposed to spend 4 years in college, but let's keep it real. The only way you guys are going to spend 4 years in college is if you do internships every summer and you take 4 to 5 or more classes every semester. I'm talking anywhere from 12 to 15 credits is the only way that you're going to be able to graduate from college in 4 years. So that's the only way it's going to happen. Anyway, so my college experience, in a nutshell, the first 2 years I went to school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And it's only because I spent down near 10 years not knowing what I wanted to do before I actually figured out what I wanted to do. Now I got a whole work history from restaurants, retail, and I've always been really good at those jobs. I've always excelled at those jobs, but of course never felt like they was paying me enough. Felt like I was doing the absolute most and nobody else does that. So I really felt like I wanted to, if I'm gonna be sitting here hating my job, then I might as well go back to school, do something I love, instead of just doing something I hate forever. Of course, I know everybody can't do that. And of course, I know it's a choice to go back to school and choice to rank up student loans or whatever the case. Whatever people online love to say, I don't care. I wanted to go back to school for me. I wanted to go back to school just for my own personal experience. It is truly an experience you can't get just from life. I mean, I live full life, but going to college is a totally different experience, and even more so different experience when you go back to college and you're 28, 29 years old. Okay, so I went back to school, and the first 2 years were easy. You know, I tend to hang around. I had a lot of younger friends. They were all like 20, 21, and I kind of always felt like Auntie Prina, which is fine. Again, like I said, I ain't looked that old, so ain't nobody really know unless I told them. And I'm not ashamed of my age. I don't mind telling people my age. So, hung around a lot of people, had fun. First 2 years was a breeze. I mean, I was getting A's back and forth. And the only thing I realized is that I didn't like math. And that's because one of the teachers I had for statistics was an evil little, old little, just evil little man. And even at that school, I had only had one teacher that was black, and she was a speech teacher. It was Florida State College at Jacksonville. Duh, I got the ID right here. Florida State College at Jacksonville. Went there for 2 years. Didn't really get involved. Again, it was a community college that turned to a 4-year college, but many people still only went there for the AA degree and just left. Kind of made friends, but really just the friends I had known from work because they end up going to the school with me. But again, none of them was going into the same major as me. And they always say when you go into undergrad, you're going to always see all these different people, but like you're really not going to really get into it and really get fun until you start going to those classes where people who are going into the same thing as you are in that class. Anyway, so my first 2 years at college, first semester, it was okay. I'm like, I'm about to get ready to do this. And it was crazy because that first semester, it was such a crazy coincidence because I was good all the way up until that first semester when I transferred after I graduated from Florida. I went to the University of South Florida and I transferred because that was the actual university. And I transferred down there and my first semester going there, y'all, first semester going there, my husband, now husband, ended up getting a job working at a newspaper up in New York. So he basically left. So for like the last 2 years of college, I basically spent in Florida by myself, basically everything by myself. I mean, if I was gonna meet people, if I was gonna network, I had to do all that stuff by myself. I was just lucky and blessed that I didn't have to work a job. I just basically went to school and was able to put all my mind into it because I really think back in the day when I was younger and I was working 2-3 jobs at a time, because you from Detroit, you a hustler. When I lived in Detroit, I was a hustler. Anyway, I was like, I'm not about to, I just know that I probably would have failed. And so that's why I'm glad I kind of went this route, because when you younger and you having fun and you doing XYZ, everybody's not focused. Some people are focused and they can do it straight through, but everybody is not focused. And I'm way, way more focused now than I ever was in my 20s, because I was busy going out, going to the club, and jumping on couches. Anyway, I knew that I wanted to go into mass communications, and I knew I wanted to be on the radio. I wanted to do TV news. I wanted to write. I wanted to blog. I wanted to do it all. And of course, everybody keep telling me I can't do it all. You gotta get to one thing. But overall, I would say the last 2 years of college, it took me about 2 semesters before I actually started joining groups and organization. I tried to get into the whole Greek life thing, but they make that stuff too complicated. I guess you got to know a lot of people. I mean, I went to all the events and stuff that they had, and I mean, the way they make it seem like on TV when they're like nice and encouraging is not how they are in real life. I went to all the events on campus. I went to plenty of step shows. I did all types of stuff on campus for my last 2 semesters. I was involved in NCNW, National Council of Negro Women. I joined that group. I joined Online News Association. I joined the local Tampa Bay Association of Black Journalists. I volunteered at WMNF, which was a NPR affiliate station. I volunteered at the country music station. I worked for the CW network. I had 2 radio shows on a college radio station, and I also did like another NPR internship over the summer. And then I even worked for the news station. I worked with the news station. One of my class for credit was the Florida Focus news station, which was like 2 semesters doing that. So I know that if I did this when I was younger, I probably would have just thought I could just go to school and keep it moving. It's only now that I'm older that I know you cannot just go to college and coast straight through 4 years and not join any groups, not meet new people, not somehow, some way get involved. Somehow you can't go to school and not do any internships, not network with anybody. Like, you just can't do that, because you really setting yourself up for failure and wasting your money of even going to college. So I really realized that if you ain't gonna go all the way in, you don't need to do it. So I spent 3 semesters at the University of South Florida, actually living on campus in campus apartments. That is another story, and you guys going to have to stick to part 2 about living in a dorm after the age of 29 and OMG. Alright guys, so you definitely want to stay tuned to my next video about my experience living in a dorm over the age of 30 at the University of South Florida. Stay tuned about dorm life coming up next. Don't forget, you can follow me on all social media. The links are in the info box. And thank you for watching.